welcome to my kitchen. My name is Jessica. I am getting my dinners prepped for the week. This week we are going to prep the spicy honey bacon chicken, the easy chicken zucchini and peppers, the slow cooker beef stroganoff soup, the sheet pan pork bites, and the turkey melts with pesto aioli, which is one of my all-time favorites. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you'll get all the notifications for our upcoming videos. And we're gonna get started here. If you are a combo member, make sure that you check out this prep menu so that way you can prep along with me in your member dashboard. So if you're a combo member, be sure and check that out, and we will link in the comment below what menu number that is. So we're gonna get started with the spicy honey bacon chicken. And I have all of these recipes are set for a serving size of 3 this week. I kind of go back and forth between 3 and 6 depending on if we have kids out doing things during the middle of the week. So this week we have a serving size set of 3, and I love that this meal plan is so versatile and so customizable that you can change that serving size to fit any size that your family needs. So this first one says we're gonna wrap each chicken breast with a slice of bacon and then put it in our baking dish. So I already have my meat in bags and containers. So this one I'm gonna put in a container. And if you'll notice, I'm actually using chicken tenderloins just because that's what my family prefers. That's what I typically have on hand. So you can do either or. So I'm just gonna, and because I'm using chicken tenderloins, and this actually worked out perfect. I didn't even plan it this way, but my husband always, because we always have bacon on hand because they love bacon at breakfast time, and he always cuts the bacon in half because he uses a smaller pan to cook the bacon. So this actually worked out perfectly since I'm using the chicken tenderloins. That way I can be sure and have like a little bit smaller piece. So I'm gonna wrap each one of these with bacon, and let me know in the comments if you've made this one before. This one is a new one for us, and I love this is a grilling recipe because I love a good grill recipe. I just feel like, I don't know, my husband is usually the one that grills. I do whenever he's not home, but I feel like it just adds so much flavor to have a grill recipe. So this one should be good, and my kids like pretty much anything wrapped in bacon. You can't go wrong with bacon. So I think they're gonna like this one. And I will make sure, this is the spicy honey bacon chicken. So I will just make sure that it's, you know, I don't put too much spice in it. So if you do have kiddos that, you know, maybe don't tolerate the spice well for this one, which this one's not super spicy anyway, it just has a little bit of kick, you can always cut back on that cayenne pepper a little bit to adjust to their taste. And if you have some that like it a little spicier, you could just sprinkle a little extra on before you serve theirs if they like it with a little bit more kick. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside, give my hands a little wash. I like to prep beside my sink because that way I can easily clean up my hands for something like that. And that is the reason that we get our meat into containers and bags beforehand, just so we're not having to wash our hands in between every meal. Okay, so my directions tell me mix my next 7 ingredients in a small bowl, which is right here. And then basically we're just gonna drizzle that over our chicken, and that's gonna be our marinade. So I'm going to do a little bit of pineapple juice. I did try to get my containers opened before I started. I'm gonna pour it over this in case it spills. And look at my, there we go, look at my measurements here. So I'm using, instead of buying a can of pineapple juice, I'm using canned pineapple because my kids love, well, especially my youngest, loves canned pineapple. So I know that they'll eat it. So I just use some of the juice from the can, and then he will eat all of the pineapple, I'm sure. So I'll put it in the fridge when we're done. A little bit more honey. Okay, I think I went a little bit crazy on the pineapple juice, but that's okay. Okay, and let me get my oil in here. And it calls for avocado oil. I'm just using olive oil for everything today. And then obviously I picked a really small bowl. Honestly, I'm using kind of a small bowl, but I'm obviously eyeballing it, which of course you'll have your measurements there on your recipes according to that serving size that you set. So for those of you that prep, do you tend to pick the same serving size every week? Is it variable, kind of like ours, where sometimes we do for 6, sometimes we do for 3? Like I said, it just kind of depends on what we have going on. Sometimes we have kiddos that are other places, so yeah. So today we're doing 3. Sometimes we have a family of 5, by the way. And sometimes I will do, let me make sure I got everything. Sometimes I will do like 3 and then kick up the meat a little bit, or I'll do 6 and then just decrease the meat a little bit. But remember, all of them are customizable to whatever size that you need. It's just the measurements are going to work better in increments of 3 because the recipes are originally written for 6 people. So if you can keep it to those increments of 3, if you're a measurer, if you're not, it really doesn't matter. Or like I said, if you have like 5 like me and you want to do, you could do a serving size of 6 and then just decrease the meat a little bit, and it'll just give you extra flavor. Okay, let me make sure I have everything in here. I do. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour this over. I should have mixed it a little bit better because my honey came last, but that's okay. The honey's going to be delicious. Okay, so I'm going to get all that in there, and that is my marinade. And then the only other thing I have to do for this recipe is it tells me to wrap my corn cobs in foil and store them in the freezer. Now, it calls for frozen corn on the cob, which will go on that customized grocery list for you. So I love that you get, of course, all the stuff that you need for prep, but also the stuff that you need for your sides. So that went on my grocery list, and our store happened to have like 25-cent fresh corn cobs, so that's what I grabbed, which is right here. That's what I grabbed, and what we typically do, because those ones that you buy that are the frozen ones come like, they're like the little mini ones. So I usually just take these and pop them in half. Now this, that didn't work very well. This one is actually gonna be our dinner here when I get done prepping. So I'm not gonna wrap them in foil because we're literally just gonna, well, I'll tell you why. Because we're about to eat it. But our directions on cooking day say we're going to put these in the slow cooker. So it's like one less thing for you to think about on cooking day at cooking time. If you put these in the slow cooker like earlier in the day, they'll be ready at dinner time. But since we're about to eat dinner and I won't have time for that, we're just gonna put these in some boiling water. Or I could toss them on the grill if I wanted to as well. And then our directions also tell us that we're going to take this chicken out and remove it from its marinade and grill it, which is super easy. Our other serving side to go with this will be salad. I just grabbed one of those bag salads. I usually do like the avocado ranch, something like that. That's kind of my go-to. Here's a little tip on those bag salads. So in our family, not everybody eats the salad. The youngest is starting to like salad a little bit, but anyway, not all of us eat the salad. I buy the bag salads, and to make it stretch a little bit further, because I know the bag salads are kind of expensive, but I love the convenience of them, and I just like the toppings and everything. I will also, because I almost always have like some romaine lettuce or some sort of lettuce on hand, I will almost always take some of that lettuce that I already have on hand, chop it up really small, and then throw it in the bag. Like once we've used it, like one time, if we, like I said, we don't have everybody eating the salad, so it might just be like a couple of us eating the salad with it. And so I will take some extra lettuce, throw it in the bag, and just basically bulk up that bag salad, since I already have lettuce on hand anyway. And that just makes it stretch even further. So that's one little tip. If you like the bag salads, but you realize they don't last a long time, that's what I like to do. So, okay, this is meal number 1, the spicy honey bacon chicken, which we're gonna actually make here right after I'm done prepping. And our next recipe is the easy chicken zucchinis and peppers. This is another new one for us, and this is a sheet pan meal, which I love. It tells me I'm gonna chop my chicken into bite-sized pieces. Remember, this one's also set for a serving size of 3 this week. Oh, here it is. I missed it when I went over there. And I got my baggie holders here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get one ready for my meat, one baggie holder for my meat, and one baggie holder for my veggies. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that set up here. So when I go to pick my menu for the week, I a lot of times will use that view all recipes button. So if you're a member and you haven't seen that button, it is a lifesaver. Now you can of course log in and look at all the current month's recipes just by like scrolling down, and you'll see this month's recipes, last month's, the months before, so you get those 3 like current that are in your dashboard. But you can also just click that view all recipes button, and if you click on that, it's going to show you everything that you have access to, like all your current recipes, and from the last few months, it's going to show you all of your favorites. Anything, if you've ever bought any bundles, they're all going to be there. Any samples that you have, they're all going to be there. Any member bonuses, everything is under that one tab. And so if you haven't tried that one out, definitely check it out, because if you like to be able to just choose from everything, you can search by ingredient, you can filter by meat type, all that sort of thing, and it just makes it super easy. So check that out if you haven't already. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, we'll link below a tutorial video that shows you kind of how to navigate the meal plan and the website and everything. Okay, so this one says we add our chicken to a large zipper bag. I'm actually gonna get rid of that for a second. Put that aside. And then it says we're gonna chop our next 2 ingredients and add them to another zipper bag. So I'm also gonna set that aside. And I have in here my zucchini and my bell pepper, and I've already washed those. So I try to get my meat into bags first, get produce washed, stuff like that. I try to also get my containers opened, right, like as I'm pulling everything out. I don't always remember to do that, but especially if it's new stuff, like a new package of mayonnaise or whatever, it is kind of nice to already have that done. So, okay, so since I am making a serving size of 3 on this one, it tells me 1.5 zucchini. So a serving size of 6 would have had 3, but I'm gonna stick with 1 because I feel like this is a pretty big zucchini. In fact, my other one's even bigger that I'm using for a different meal. So I think we're just gonna stick with the 1 there. Okay, and my kiddo, my youngest kiddo, absolutely loves. He has gotten on a bell pepper kick, which I love. He loves just eating raw bell pepper as a snack. He'll eat it whole like an apple. So I bought the 3-pack at Aldi this week. And if you want to check out my grocery haul that I did for this week's meal prep, in addition to like have some few snacks and stuff like that, you can check that out also on our YouTube channel. So you can check out that video. That was a previous one. And like I said, if you are subscribed to our channel and you're not getting the notifications, there should be a little bell, and that will tell you like anytime that we have a new video that's come up. So that's super handy. And we have lots of fun things on there. We have meal preps and grocery hauls, and like you can actually see what this looks like on cook day. So I know we're usually showing it, how do we prep it, but you can also see, okay, what does this actually look like when we take the meal out of the refrigerator and then get it onto the dinner table. So you can see that process as well. And I love that these meals are so super fast to get on the dinner table without a lot of cleanup, because you're getting all the hard work done. You're getting the messy stuff done on prep day. So, okay, I'm going to add these to a zipper bag. See if you can say that 10 times fast. And then I'm going to chop up my zucchini. And then after that, mix remaining ingredients in a small bowl and pour evenly into both bags. So I washed this, but this looks, okay, that's a seed. Or that's from the bell pepper. I was making sure that I washed it good enough. So I'm just gonna chop these into bite-sized pieces, and then we'll have a little like marinade / sauce that we'll season it with, and this will be ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and do this a little, not quite so wide. I think my crew likes them chopped up pretty small. So, okay, so let's get this chopped up. This is the easy chicken, zucchini, and peppers. So this does come from our clean eating plan. So I have the combo plan, which is all of the classic and clean eating recipes. So you get it all. And the lunch recipes, which I sometimes forget to tell you about. So I have the combo plan. So this is from the clean eating, and I use a combination of both. I will say we tend to lean a little bit more towards a little bit classic heavy, because I do have picky kids, but we find things on both menus that my picky kids will eat, which I like. So how many of you have picky kids? Let me know in the comment. I feel like if you have kids, especially if you have more than one, surely one of them's picky. Between your kids, maybe your husband. So I definitely have picky kids. They're getting, as they get older, they're getting a little bit less picky. Well, one of them is. So luckily my youngest is the best eater probably of the whole family. Well, maybe except me. I am a little bit picky here and there too, but my youngest is probably the best eater. And I'm hoping that he doesn't outgrow that. I'm hoping that he like keeps that, because my other two definitely, they outgrew that. they used to be great eaters, and then they just, they started realizing, oh wait, I don't actually like that. So, okay, and then it says to mix our remaining ingredients in a bowl. What did I do? I actually determined beforehand. Some of these things I'm just like mixing into a small bowl and then pouring it into a bag. So I might as well reuse the bowl, because why not? And so for this one, we need our pesto, which we're actually going to use for 2 meals. So this is our first one. And then we need, oh, and I just opened this and it needs to be stirred. Like it's a brand new bottle. And it looks like I need to kind of stir it up a little bit because some of the stuff settled to the top. Some of the oil settled to the top. Okay, do you have a particular type of pesto that you like? This is from Aldi. So I did an Instacart order this week. And we had that once you create your menu and set your serving size, it generates that grocery list for you. And we have that little handy tool or button that says add to Instacart. And so I clicked that button and then it put all of those groceries that I needed into my Instacart. And then of course I deleted what I didn't need. So yeah, that's super handy. And I decided to do Instacart this week. I almost always, let me check my ingredients real quick. Okay, garlic. I almost always do either like Instacart or grocery pickup. Most of the time I've been doing grocery pickup because it's free. Now, I will say, you can, if you are a fan of Instacart, but you don't like paying like the delivery fees and you're not a member, you can actually do like pickup for $2. So I don't know if they do that at all stores, but I know they do at Aldi. That's what I usually do. If I'm using Instacart, I'm almost always using pickup because I like to save the money. So, but today I decided, and you can see this video on our YouTube channel because I did a grocery haul. I decided, you know what? I'm gonna let them deliver it to me today because it was a dreary day and I just really didn't feel like getting out. And it really helped because I had free delivery. So yeah, which I didn't realize I had in my account. So even if you're not an Instacart member, this is not an ad for Instacart, but it is really helpful with this meal prepping and, you know, life thing. They'll give you codes sometimes. So, okay, got my Parmesan. I really love to use fresh and we almost always have it on hand. I did have to buy a new one this time. Is that it? So pesto, garlic. Oh, I do need to salt and pepper everything. I don't remember if I did that on the last one. So it usually tells you that step. Sometimes I accidentally look over it, so sometimes I forget, but salt and pepper everything first. And then I'm going to put some in each bag. I feel like I didn't get my pesto stirred up as well as it normally is. I think all the oil like settled to the bottom of the jar. I'm gonna add a little bit of olive oil too, just so it's like, this is really thicker than it normally is, that pesto is. So that way it kind of thins it out a little bit, so that way I can really get it on those veggies and that chicken. Okay, I love a good pesto. So this is, like I said, the Aldi pesto. I'm trying to remember what my favorite brand it's not the Aldi one, and the Aldi one is pretty good, but there's a different brand, and I remember the last time I bought it thinking, ooh, I gotta remember this because this is my favorite one. Now I can't remember it. I would reckon it might be Classico. That might be the one that I really liked. So let me know in the comments, what is your favorite brand of like store-bought pesto? And if you haven't tried the sun-dried tomato pesto, the red pesto, which we have some recipes that call for that, that's another really good one. So, I mean, obviously different flavor profile. Okay, that is all. So I'm going to shake this around each bag, get all that yummy pesto-ness distributed. And then this one is ready to go. This is a sheet pan meal. And this one, we're gonna put it on the sheet pan. It's only gonna take about 15-20 minutes to cook. 15-18 minutes to cook. And then the other side to go with this one is rice. And so they'll just, your grocery list will just call for those rice steamers just to make it super easy. Pop it in the microwave, put it on the side, and that's it. So this is another very hands-off dinner. Pop it in the oven, walk away, get your stuff done, and come back, and it's ready to go. Okay, that one is ready. Oh, it also says to serve this one with salad as well. So I'm gonna pop that behind me. That was meal number 2. And I am gonna give this a little bit of a rinse. I don't have to, but that way things don't get too messy. So, Oh, I got two towels. I got my rag here that I was wiping my counters with. Let's just move that. Let's just move that out of the way. And my towel. Okay, so that was meal number 2. This week we spent right around $50 on dinner groceries this week. My total Aldi bill was like $68 because I needed like some milk and eggs and needed some snacks and things like that. But we spent right around the $50 mark for our 5 meals. And I will say, it's hard to do a dinner out for $50, even though I feel like we do a really good job and we're super frugal and like our kids share meals and all that sort of stuff. It's gotten harder and harder to eat out. So the fact that we can get 5 meals with our sides for that much is incredible. Okay, our next one, this is a dump and go recipe, which are my favorite. This is the slow cooker beef stroganoff soup. My husband is going to be super excited about this one because he loves a good beef stroganoff. So we've never had this one before. It's a beef stroganoff soup. And I love this recipe because it is one of those that you can just literally put everything into the bag and you're done. Okay, so that's what my instructions say. Add all ingredients to a large zipper bag, zip and shake to mix. So I have my stew meat that it called for in here. And like prepping this so close to dinner is making me really hungry. I normally prep like a little bit earlier in the day, but today just kind of got away from us. So I'm glad that I'm getting it done. And I'm also glad that I get to have dinner right after this and that it's prepped and ready to go. So it'll take hardly any time to cook. Oh, don't want to go crazy with the Worcestershire. Okay, that is one thing I usually measure and I forgot this time. So probably measure the Worcestershire so you don't go crazy with it like I almost did. Okay, so our Italian seasoning, I'm just using my lid to measure here. And I did get my measuring spoons out today. Now, this is another like picky kid tip. I'm all about picky kid tips because I have picky kids, picky husband. Now, I mentioned this before in one of my previous prep videos, is that if your kids don't like onion, but obviously you still want that onion flavor, you can use dried minced onion and you still get that same onion flavor, but they don't notice it as much. So sometimes I'll use the frozen chopped onion, the real onion, and then sometimes I use the minced dried onion. So for this one, I'm doing the minced dried onion this time. So that is a great little swap that still gives you the same result. But if you have picky kiddos, that's a great swap. So, okay, I'm almost out of my garlic. I hope I have enough to last me through. I think, do I need it for, I might need it for one, I need it for one more. So that should be just the right amount. Okay, and my mushrooms, which my husband will be excited about because he loves mushrooms. Oh, I just remembered, I forgot to wash them. I feel like sometimes when they come, they say they're pre-washed, but these do not say that. So, okay, I know they say with mushrooms that you're really supposed to like get a wet paper towel and wipe them off. But when they're pre-sliced like this, that's really hard to do. Like almost impossible or would take way too long. So I'm doing it the other way. I figure, you know what? They're going to be in soup anyway. So just kind of give them a few rinses here and then we're going to call it a day. Okay, so this one, serving sides to go with this one are green salad. This one's a really hearty soup because it's also going to have egg noodles in the soup, and we'll put that in on cooking day. So this one doesn't really need a lot of sides to go with it. Okay, I go a little bit easy on the mushrooms because not everybody in the family likes them, so I still put them in there. I just don't put quite as many as it calls for. Salt and pepper, and this one's ready to go. So this is one of those, like I said, dump and go recipes. And if you didn't know it, when you're searching through and picking your menu for the week, you can filter by like meat type and different things like that. And you can also filter by dump dinners is what they're called. And those are just dinners that simply, you can just dump everything into the bag and you don't have to, like, they're super easy prep. So if you just want to make all of those, you can just filter by that and it'll show you only the recipes that fit into that category. So obviously this is going to be a soup. So on cooking day, we're going to pour this and our beef broth into the slow cooker. And then at the very end, we're going to create like a creamy mixture to give that stroganoff creaminess to it that has like some flour and sour cream that we're going to put in there, and then we're going to add our egg noodles to it at the end as well. So that is our slow cooker beef stroganoff soup right there, ready to go. So that was meal number 3. And meal number 4 is one that we've actually had before. I really love this one. This is the sheet pan pork bites. This is another sheet pan meal. And I'm gonna kind of do a swap here. Kind of clean up my space a little bit. I like to use these baskets. I don't use them every time. Let me set these over here. But I like to use them just to make it easy getting things back and forth, kind of keeping everything contained from like, you know, recipe to recipe. It just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so I have my pork already in my bag. I'm gonna go ahead, oh yeah, I'm gonna cut up my bell pepper and my zucchini. I just happened to pick 2 this week that called for bell pepper and zucchini, which I actually love that. I didn't do it on purpose, but I love that because, as you know, if you've ever shopped at Aldi before, when you shop at Aldi, a lot of the times, like with things like bell pepper, zucchini, they're going to come in a package, and you're not just going to get one like you would at a normal grocery store. So I like that because that way we use them all up with one meal prep. So now I will have 1 bell pepper left over, but bell peppers don't go bad in our house because like I said, my 4-year-old and my husband, they love them, and they really like to just eat them raw. So I think I had a meal like last week where I can't remember if I prepped extra and just left it raw. No, I think I just didn't even cook that one. Like I didn't cook the bell pepper for that one because I knew they liked it raw. So anyway, we'll have an extra one, and that'll be perfect because they can have some extra on the side, or really for a snack. Okay, so I'm going to chop my bell pepper and my zucchini into bite-sized pieces. I'm just going to kind of do slices and then cut those in half. There. Okay, do you have a favorite color of bell pepper? So my son is my 4-year-old who loves them so much. He's not picky. However, I'm not even sure if he's ever had a green bell pepper. I do feel like those taste a lot different because they're not near as sweet. So I don't know if he would like those as much because he literally will eat these like an apple. So not sure that he would for a green bell pepper, but I don't know. I think I like the yellow or the orange the best. But I mean, red tastes very similar. So do y'all think the same thing? And I've heard so many times before that with a red bell pepper, that they have tons of vitamin C in them, like more than an orange. Have y'all heard that before? Let me know in the comments because I'm curious. I've heard that many times. Okay, so we're gonna put that in this bag here. So this is another, like I said, a sheet pan meal. Everything's gonna go on the sheet pan. And this is a broil meal. So for this one, you're gonna turn on the broiler. If you've never used your broiler before, you need to try it. So if you remember, go to your recipes, go to that view all recipes button. Sorry, don't mean to be pointing at you with my knife. Go to that view all recipes button that we talked about before. But if you remember, go there and filter by sheet pan meals. If you've never used a broiler before, find one of those sheet pan meals that calls for it to be broiled and just give it a try, because I love the broiler because it cooks things so fast. So this one, like on the directions for cooking day, it tells me you're gonna cook it for about 5 to 7 minutes, which is crazy fast. So I love that. And since it's a sheet pan meal, you're not gonna be getting a bunch of dishes dirty, right? So, okay, I'm being careful here. Okay, let me put this in here, and then we're gonna make our sauce. Oh, there goes the zucchini. Hold on. And my dog is roaming around. She might come in and try it, although I don't know that she's really gonna like zucchini. So if you remember, have you tried this one? This is the sheet pan pork bites. We've had this one a couple of times. We love this one. It just has such good flavor. And like I said, it's another one of those super easy, fast meals. If you are not a member and you struggle with dinner time and just either maybe coming up with new ideas or just getting it done because life is busy, we have a link in the description that you can check out the meal plans and go give it a try it out. prep a few meals for the week and see how much easier it really does make dinner go. Because it just takes all the think work out. So when it's time to cook one of these meals, so obviously I'm prepping them right now. See, y'all, this is a big zucchini. When it's time to cook one of these meals, I will just go to the fridge and then pick out what we're having that night from the ones that I've already prepped, and then pull it out of the fridge, and then, you know, however it's supposed to be cooked. So in this case, I'll just dump it in the sheet pan, start my oven, and wait for it to cook. So, and all the sides that they put to go with the meals are usually super easy. And if it's one that requires a little bit more work, like obviously this, we're cutting up our veggies and we're marinating them, then they're gonna have you do that on prep day, so that way you're not doing it on cook day. So that way you can save yourself time on cook day. So, okay, that is ready on that. And now we're gonna get a bowl. And I was planning on reusing, was I gonna reuse my bowl? Hold on, I grabbed another bowl, but oh, here it is. I said tonight, okay. Okay, and on this one, it tells me I'm going to mix all the rest of my sauce ingredients in the bowl, and then it's gonna have me reserve a little bit for cook day. So I will do that here in just a minute. So let me get my olive oil, the rest of my garlic, which I think that worked out just about perfect. So, because this is the end of it. Now, if you'll notice, I am using, I do have my garlic in this bag. A lot of our preppers use the like jars of like minced garlic that you can buy in the produce section. I love the convenience of that. I really like the flavor of making my own, which you totally don't have to do. It's just a personal preference thing, but I like to make it easy still. So what I do, before I keep saying what I do, balsamic vinegar. What I do is I buy the peeled cloves of garlic that you also can get in the produce section. And I have this little bitty Ninja food processor. I mean, it's literally like that big. So it's not hard to clean. It's super easy to get out and like wash it out real quick and put it back up. And I will put those cloves in there. Look at my measurements here. Okay. I will put those cloves in there, and it takes about 15 seconds to pulse them to where they're really, you know, finely chopped. And then I'll just pop them in a freezer bag. And that is my jarred garlic. So, okay. A little bit of lime juice. Now I am using fresh rosemary only because the recipe calls for dried, but only because I have it. I always have it because I have a plant. And I lost, no we didn't, I lost my scissors. So, since I have it, it's what I use. I know it takes a few extra seconds, but I say if you have it, use it. Otherwise, like I said, the recipe says use dried, which is super, super easy, super fast. I just feel like this only takes a few more seconds to do. And I already have it here. So use what you have on hand. And I love that about this meal plan is they really stress, like in our community, in our Facebook community, like be sure that you shop your pantry and your fridge first. Like, you know, if you already have fresh rosemary and you want to use it, go ahead and use it. And so like when I went to the store this week, or I Instacarted it this week, I went through that grocery list and I checked off what I already had. And then I just obviously ordered what I didn't have. So, and then I put in there our snacks and stuff like that too. Okay, so I have everything, salt and pepper, which I can't remember if I already did. So I don't think I did. Oh, I guess I should get my pork out too, huh? Which is right here. Now my pork, I had leftover pork tenderloin in the freezer. So I'm using that up. This once again is also set this time for a serving size of 3, but you can do that for any serving size that you need for your family's needs. So this one's set for 3, and I'm using my leftover pork tenderloin that I had. That's kind of what we use for everything when it comes to pork, because you can do anything with it. You can cut it up into pork bites. You can even cut it up into like pork chops if you want to. But anyway, that's what our preference is. And I almost always have, or lately I've had it in the freezer. So I went ahead and pulled some of that out of the freezer, and it's still kind of partially frozen, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to pour, it says to pour most of the sauce over our pork and veggie mixture, and then save a little bit of it, because on cooking day, your serving side to go along with this is frozen cauliflower rice. So in order to give that frozen cauliflower rice a little bit more flavor, they have you reserve a little bit of that sauce to dump in there once you've microwaved it and it's ready to go. It'll just give it some extra flavor. So this one is ready to go. The sheet pan pork bites. Yum, I can't wait to eat this one. So we have that, our veggies in here, our pork in here. Just kind of shake it all around. Try to get all the air out as best you can. So that way it stays fresher longer if you can get the air out of the bag. I think I got it, okay. Mostly got it out of this one. Okay, our last one is one of my all-time favorites that I haven't had in a long time. Our last one is the turkey melts with pesto aioli. Now, once again, let me know in the comments if you've had this one before. This one is in my favorites folder. So when you're a member, you're gonna get new recipes every month. So every month they'll come out with more recipes. So you're gonna always have access to a lot of recipes. And if there's ever something that you just, which there will be, I'm sure, that you just love and you want to make over and over again, but you like whenever it goes out of rotation, you don't want it to go away, you can click the heart and save it to your favorites folder. So once again, we do have a tutorial video. If you're still like new and you're trying to figure all this out, or if you haven't become a member and you just kind of want to see what it's all about, you can check out that. That'll be linked there in the comments or description below. So anyway, this is one that I saved to my favorites folder, so I get to keep it in there, kind of like an online recipe box. Get to keep it in there forever. In a small bowl with lid, we're going to combine our first 4 ingredients. Now, this one, let me grab my stuff. Oh, it's over here. I don't know why I said this one. Anyway, I'm going to use my sourdough bread that I showed in my grocery haul for this one. I'll use that in a minute. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. This one has this pesto aioli that is one of my all-time favorites. And I don't even really like mayonnaise that much, but this aioli is so good. So if you love pesto, you definitely need to try this one. And it's so super easy. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our mayonnaise in here. I'm using Hellmann's. And I know for those people that are real big mayonnaise fans, they're probably like either saying, yes, Hellmann's, or no, whatever. Duke's, I guess, is another one. So are you like a die-hard mayonnaise fan? Do you have a certain brand that you have to have? I'm curious. Let me know. Let me know what you think. Okay, so, and I'm using our pesto. I'm gonna stir it a little bit better this time because last time I don't think I did. I'll give that can't get to the bottom there. Okay, so I got our pesto here. And once again, I'm eyeballing it. Maybe going a little bit heavy on the pesto because I love pesto. Okay, and then we need a little squeeze of a lemon. It calls for lemon juice. You can just buy the kind in the jar or the bottle is what most people have. And I like that kind. I'm out right now, so Aldi didn't have the kind that I like, so we just got a single lemon and we're just gonna give a little squeeze and we'll use the rest of that in our water. Okay, so let me give this a stir. This is our aioli, and then this is gonna be reserved for cooking day because we don't wanna put this on our sandwiches until it's time to serve them, so that way the bread doesn't get soggy. So they thought of all those little things like how can you prep this ahead of time? It's still fresh on the day that you're supposed to cook it, but they thought of all those little details to keep it fresh in their fridge. So this is one of them. We're not gonna put this on until cooking day. So there is that pesto aioli. A little goes a long way. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to eat this one. I love this so much. Okay, and then we're going to make our sandwiches, which is just super simple. I'm gonna flip this over since it's still kind of wet from getting rinsed off a minute ago. Okay, so this is super simple. We're just gonna build our sandwiches. So assemble your sandwiches with bread, turkey, and cheese. So I have, it calls for sourdough bread. Like I said, if you shop at Aldi, this is one of those that I love their sourdough bread. It's super good. So Trader Joe's has some really good sourdough bread too. Unfortunately, we don't have a Trader Joe's nearby. I'm gonna put my lid on this real quick. I only get to shop Trader Joe's when I go like visit my sister or go, you know, to a different area. So, okay, I bought the sourdough bread that I bought is kind of big, so we don't really want sandwiches that big. So I'm gonna cut like the biggest pieces in half. And now I set all of my menu this week for a serving size of 3. However, this one I'm doing 4 sandwiches and we're serving 5 people. But I kind of did this on purpose because my youngest doesn't really, he likes a disassembled sandwich. He doesn't really like bread actually. So he just wants the insides of the sandwich. So that's what we'll do for him. So I'm not actually going to build him one. I will just give him his turkey and cheese and whatever else we're having with it without the bread. So, okay, let me cut these in half and we'll build our sandwiches. I'm gonna store this one in a Ziploc. My directions tell me to store it in a container with a lid, so you can do it either way. I feel like it still works really well just doing a big Ziploc. Unless you have a ton, then you probably want to do a container with lids. So, okay, cut those in half. And it calls for provolone cheese and then of course lunch meat. So whatever type of lunch meat that you like to get. We have just gotten to where we get this prepackaged like Hillshire Farm lunch meat because we used to always like die hard, have to get lunch meat behind the deli counter all the time. And then when the price of turkey started going up, however long ago that's been, we pretty much stopped doing that except for like special things. So we got to where we did the prepackaged because it's definitely much more budget friendly. So that's what we're doing. So on cooking day, we will obviously put our pesto aioli on our sandwiches and then the serving sides to go along with this one. See, I said I opened everything, but I forgot this one. The serving sides to go along with this one are potato chips and strawberries. So my kids love strawberries. We almost always have them on hand. Usually, if it's not strawberries, you know, some other sort of fruit, but they love fruit. So they might be picky, but they love fruit. So at least we have that. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little turkey on each one of these. I'm just gonna pop this into a Ziploc bag. Like I said, the directions say a container with lid, so either one works. And then on cooking day, we don't really, it says you bake your sandwiches. I forgot. They are called turkey melts. I forgot. You're gonna bake your sandwiches on a sheet pan for just long enough to get them basically melty and toasty. So 10 to 15 minutes. And we're gonna spread our aioli on after they're done baking. And that's it. We'll serve it with our strawberries and chips. And that is a super easy dinner. Did I get enough on this one? I'm gonna not put as much on. I have my 13-year-old does not like much meat on hers, so I won't do as much on hers. Okay, these are ready to go. The sourdough's so good. So I'm gonna put these in our bag, and that is our meal prep. So like I said, if you wanna check out the grocery haul that I did, you can check that out. Oh, I lost a piece of bread. You can check that out on our channel. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, hit that little bell, and that way you don't miss out on any of the fun videos that we have. So let me put this in my bag, and then we are good to go. And then I will just get this all cleaned up. What did I do with my bag? Hold on, bear with me. Okay, I had my bag out, and I think I dropped it somewhere because it was sitting right beside me. So let me grab another one. That's okay, I'll probably find it as soon as I go to clean everything up. So it'll already be labeled, but we'll just use that for something else sometime. So this is ready to go. I hope that y'all enjoyed this prep, and be sure, if you're a combo member, be sure and grab the PDF of this prep that I did in your member dashboard. So there we go. Let me just kind of do a little recap just so you can see everything set out of what I just made for our dinners. And once I get this in the fridge, I'll put these in the fridge, I'll put everything away, which usually takes me about 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna pop one of these right onto the grill because we're having dinner. So hope that y'all enjoyed this. I'll see you soon.